Welcome to New Findings of the Universe. Today, we're not taking a scenic tour. We're retesting the hard limits of the human body. The solar system looks close on a map, but every planet is a different kind of trap. Pressure, radiation, cold, heat, and chemistry. On Earth, breathing and walking feel simple because the atmosphere, magnetic field, and liquid water quietly protect you. Away from Earth, almost everything works against life. If a human appeared instantly on another world with no protection, even 1 second would feel long. And even with advanced technology, survival becomes a short stopwatch race against forces that crush metal, melt rock, or rip apart your cells. This is a narrated simulation not for shock, but for scale. We'll go through the 7 planets other than Earth, and for each one, you'll feel what fails first and what ends you. Every planet has its signature death mode. On one, the air crushes you like an ocean. On another, sunlight cooks you with no filter. On another, the vacuum and dust win. On gas giants, there isn't even a surface-only falling wind and rising pressure. Let's begin with the planet that looks like Earth's twin in size, but is really a sealed furnace with no escape: Venus. Venus hits you before you even see it. The air is dense and heavy, more like hot fluid than atmosphere. Without protection, death is almost instant because the pressure collapses your lungs and body. But imagine you arrive wearing an extreme suit built for the impossible. Rigid plates, reinforced seals, and an internal cooling system fighting to keep you human. You open your eyes and everything is yellow-orange twilight. Sunlight is scattered through acid clouds. The ground is volcanic rock, cracked, barren, and lifeless. Gravity feels almost like Earth, so the suit's weight doesn't get forgiven. The first enemy is heat, around 470 degrees Celsius, and it never really cools. The second enemy is chemistry. Corrosive compounds attack every seam, every microcrack. At first, the suit holds. Pumps hum. You walk, you look. But the heat is not a blast, it's a flood. It saturates insulation, overwhelms cooling, and begins heating the suit from the outside and inside at once. Then the key failure happens. Cooling can't keep up. Your internal temperature climbs, vision narrows, pulse spikes. The brain goes first. Consciousness fades like a system powering down. On Venus, even perfect armor only buys minutes because the planet is built to erase mistakes. Mercury looks simple, small, rocky, silent. But its cruelty is the lack of atmosphere. No buffer, no heat sharing, no radiation filter. You land in a vacuum-proof suit with thermal insulation and a dark visor. The surface is gray, cratered, and sharp-edged. On the night side, the cold is brutal, around -173 degrees Celsius. Your suit can survive it for a while, but the real danger arrives when the sun rises. On Mercury, the sun looks bigger and harsher white, blinding, unsoftened. Daytime temperatures can hit 427 degrees Celsius, and ultraviolet radiation slams into you with no shielding from air. Cooling becomes a losing game in a vacuum, where dumping heat is slow. Radiation starts degrading electronics and flooding sensors with errors. A small thermal control problem becomes a cascade. First, you lose stable temperature control. Then, critical systems begin shutting down. And even if oxygen remains in your tank, your body depends on the suit maintaining balance. Mercury doesn't kill you with poison or predators. Kills you with unfiltered sunlight and vacuum physics. Until your body simply can't operate. Mars is the planet of maybe, but its promise comes with fine print. You step onto a red desert under a dusty sky. An atmosphere exists, but it's too thin and mostly C-useless for breathing. Without a suit, you'd pass out almost immediately. With a suit, you can walk, and reduced gravity makes movement easier. Mars rarely kills instantly. Mars kills with slow failure. Temperatures can feel manageable near the equator during the day. But when night falls, they plunge toward -70 degrees Celsius. If your thermal system fails, hypothermia takes you quickly. Then there's radiation. Mars lacks a strong global magnetic field and has a thin atmosphere. So high-energy particles reach the surface. Even with shielding, long exposure adds invisible damage over time. And dust is the quiet enemy, fine, charged, abrasive. It infiltrates joints, scratches visors, clogs filters, and can turn storms into disorienting walls. On Mars, death often begins as a small problem. A seal wears down, a heater fails, a battery drains, a line freezes. Here, everything that keeps you alive is a machine. If the machine stumbles, the body has no backup. Jupiter offers no ground, only falling. From far away, it's beautiful. Up close, it's a radiation factory. Before you even enter the atmosphere, you're inside a colossal magnetic environment that traps and accelerates deadly particles. Even inside a ship, systems suffer. In a suit, your body takes damage fast. You jump. At first, you pass through cold cloud layers and massive storms. Lightning flashes like continent-sized scars. Winds slam you sideways. The turbulence is violent enough to destroy orientation and hit your body with crushing GA forces. Even if the suit survives, you might not. Blood flow destabilizes, the brain starves, and consciousness shuts off. If you somehow stay awake, pressure rises relentlessly. Gas becomes dense, then heavier, then something closer to liquid. Temperature climbs as you descend into deeper layers fed by Jupiter's internal heat. There's no surface to reach, no moment to stand, only deeper, faster, harder. Jupiter kills with radiation, acceleration, pressure, and heat, and it does it without ever touching you with rock. Saturn looks elegant, but elegance isn't safety. Like Jupiter, it's a giant atmosphere with no ground. You descend wearing extreme protection, radiation shielding, thermal systems, structural reinforcement. The first moments are surreal. Faint auroras, pale clouds, a soft glow. Then the shaking begins. Saturn's winds are savage. You're slammed, spun, and tossed like debris. The human body struggles with constant rotation and changing forces. Nausea becomes immediate, then confusion, then collapse. Pressure keeps increasing, and the suit begins to flex and groan. In upper layers, chemistry matters to ammonia. Its environments punish even tiny leaks. Even if nothing tears, the environment wears your systems down. Cold, vibration, pressure. Eventually, a structural limit is hit, or support systems fail, and the suit stops being a shelter and becomes a crushed container. Like Jupiter, Saturn doesn't offer a final step, only disappearance into depth. Uranus is easy to overlook until you try to survive it. It's distant, dimly lit, and brutally cold. You descend into an atmosphere of gases that won't forgive skin or lungs. The cold in upper layers can approach -220 degrees Celsius, and extreme cold doesn't just chill you, it destroys performance. Batteries weaken, lubricants thicken, seals harden. Materials become brittle. Winds and turbulence add violence, while pressure begins its familiar climb. Radiation is less intense than Jupiter's, but still part of the hazard. Here, death often comes from a combined failure. Cold degrades the suit, pressure finishes it, and support systems shut down before you realize how quickly the margin vanished. Uranus feels like the universe turning the volume down, quiet, distant, and lethal. Neptune looks calm, deep blue, almost peaceful. But it holds the fastest winds in the solar system, reaching around 1,300 miles per hour. You begin your descent and immediately become a piece of debris in a planet-sized storm. The sun is only a bright point. Light is scarce. The atmosphere hits you like a moving wall. The wind doesn't just push. It whips you into violent spins and sudden directional changes that the human body can tolerate for long. Extreme cold makes materials brittle and systems unreliable. A small crack, a frozen valve, a stuck regulator, any one can trigger rapid loss of life support. And as always, pressure climbs until structural failure becomes inevitable. Neptune's lesson is brutal. Beauty doesn't mean habitability. In the outer solar system, the universe isn't empty. It's active, violent, and completely indifferent to human biology.